The voters who say they are impacted the least trend towards Harris. It's a fascinating graph. Those who say they've been impacted only a little by inflation, 50% of them vote for Donald Trump, vote for Kamala Harris. Harris could do voters a service, of course, by answering where she stands on key issues, big things like health care. Trump could do the same by focusing on less personal insults. Neither of them are showing us they can do any of the kind. So instead, this election is about vibes. Try feeding your family with that. We begin tonight with Mark Penn, former pollster for Bill Clinton. It's good to see you, sir. Welcome to the set. Thank you. I guess the ... to what I just laid out is the first candidate who substantively either talks about issues and lays out a vision might actually have an opportunity here.
Well, that's it. The whole question is, will the issues become salient, or will some kind of personality and vibes dominate? Look, I'm used to elections in which there are 3 presidential debates, no questions asked, policy papers on every major policy, no questions asked, and interviews with their candidates. Unquestionably, the press gets their day to ask the toughest questions. That's what an election campaign has to be about, and if it's not, the American voters should have their say and protest.
That said, the American voters can only protest really at the ballot box, right? That's how it's set up. Am I feeling the same thing you are, that the honeymoon for Kamala Harris may be coming to a close after the DNC?
I don't know, but she's got a good run of another week of unfiltered media. I think she's already had the Democratic convention. She's had the full effect. I don't think there are more voters out there that can shift, so I think she's gotten already the full value, and the convention will just be a week of more or less unfiltered message from the Democratic Party. That's usually the high point. Voters then will go home for the Labor Day weekend, which is when they really talk over politics, and the polls really start to matter when they get back from Labor Day.
And just in terms of how far we've come from elections that you got to know, where there were 3 debates unquestionably and everything else, early voting starts as soon as Labor Day is over. Kamala Harris has achieved something I think that's pretty remarkable, which is somehow the American people no longer associate, or her supporters no longer associate, the Biden-Harris agenda and the results of that with Kamala Harris. Can you explain that?
Well, we don't know what the voters do and do not associate until they actually vote. My experience is sometimes when there are these media bubbles, the polls can get disconnected from what's really going on. We know that 2/3 are unhappy with the direction of the country, 2/3 are unhappy with the economy. Before announcing as presidential candidate, Kamala Harris had a 38%, not a 47% approval rating. And we know that the voters are unhappy with the basic issues of the country. They only give the Biden-Harris administration performance in the 40s. Are we going to go to an election where that doesn't matter, or is it only a bunch of polls in which that doesn't matter? I wonder where this is going to come down. I don't think this is over yet in that context.
As a pollster, that is both alarming to hear and insightful, probably at the same time. Interestingly enough, Donald Trump, and it's hard to say that this is really policy, but even in his conversation with Elon Musk, lays down a few markers. Take a listen.
We're going to give incentive to companies to come into our country, not to leave our country. We're going to be giving tremendous incentives. We want companies to build here, not to build in other locations. And we want to create jobs. And again, it's about the American dream. We built our military, largely rebuilt our military, did a great job on it, which was so important. We're going to drill, baby, drill. You know, they stopped drilling, and then they went back to drilling because they went back to the Trump policy.
So many Republicans say if only Donald Trump would talk about policy, if only he would go full bore on inflation, fuel, drilling, whatever you want to call it, the border and crime, he would win. Can we say that?
Well, I think what they're really saying is if Trump could make the issue differences between him and Harris, say on the border, say on taxes, she's for higher taxes, he's for lower, he's for closed border, she's for different border policies that she hasn't enunciated yet. I think they're saying if you could make those salient, give you an example, like when I did the 3 a.m. ad for Hillary, I made salient the notion of commander-in-chief. Before then, everybody knew that she would be a better commander-in-chief, but it wasn't a voting issue. So Trump is out there. He talks 60, 70% about the issues, then he'll throw in a little jibe, and that, of course, will get all of the press attention, and all the issue stuff is wiped out. But that's not really the problem. The problem is, how does he translate the issue differences, the fact that she's viewed as more to the left than Joe Biden, and Joe Biden was viewed as out of step with America, into how people vote in an emotional, realistic way about what it means. That's the challenge his campaign has. He has to run a second presidential campaign. He defeated the first candidate.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.